Hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Soul Sessions. I'm
Woohoo,
Terry
hello.
Lee. I'm Terry Lee, pure visionary psychic medium. And my special guest today is Kim Copeland. Thanks
Oh,
for
hi,
coming, Kim.
Terry. Thank you for having me again. It's so wonderful to be with you again, to share this space with you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. It's a beautiful thing. You're such a delightful spirit. And Kim was my teacher. So I am definitely appreciative of her talents and her skill and her love for those that she helps and shares throughout her life.
Well, thank
And
you. You're my teacher too.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
absolutely.
What did I teach you? How to be an obnoxious student or
No, no, what you teach me now, I feel like you're an amazing host. That I
oh,
mean,
thank
really,
you.
you're very tech savvy, apparently, um, way beyond my imagination that I could even be. And yeah, you're amazing with your spirit communication and your guides.
Oh, thank you, dear. Well, I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. I'm enjoying the journey immensely and have been just obsessed with studying lately so much about soul life. So, Soul Sessions is all about souls. And we're really happy you joined us here today. And we're hoping that you'll find some information out that perhaps you haven't heard before, or today it might resonate with you. So, stick with us. We're going to talk about transitions today. These are spiritual transitions as the spirit gently releases and crosses the veil and goes to the other side. Ooh, get chills.
Mm.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a very sacred experience. So, our first session, I want to mention this, was with the Robert Bunges and the Akashic Records. And if you haven't caught that, please do, because that is a great one to fit in with what we're going to talk about today and talk about reincarnation and past lives on that show. And it was amazing. And I hope to have him back again soon. Now, if you're not familiar with Kim, I have a little introduction for her here. And I'll do that now, and then we'll dig in. Kim Copeland has over 20 years of experience as a psychic medium, hospice RN, and energy medicine practitioner. Mediumship and psychic work developed from her studies in shamanism and energy medicine. She is passionate about assisting clients to discover love, connection, and support from their spirit helpers, which include loved ones, angels, guides, master teachers, animals, ETs, and more. Isn't it great to know we have so much help?
I know. Many dimensions, many dimensions.
Kim offers readings and teaches psychic development. Her teaching and readings are inspired by love, divine connection, support, and energetic balancing. So,
Thank you, Terry. That's
you're
very
very
nice.
welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. It's, as I said, a wonderful thing to have you here today. And when I was doing the subjects of these episodes, and I thought of transitioning, you're the first one that the guides brought. It's Kim. So let's get down to it and take a minute to say hi to everybody too. All right, Teresa Levine, Gigi. Oh, Ron. I always feel like everything's going to be okay. When Ron's in the chat, I just relax. Oh, good. That's
Hi,
great.
Gigi.
Juno Spear, wonderful.
Juno.
Butterfly Kisses Healing. Oh, great to see you all. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me, really. I appreciate it so much. Okay, well, what I'm going to do today is we are going to have some questions because it's my show. I get to ask some questions I want to hear. And I'll take a few from the chat. And I'll also have one question today. That's the only one I had from my community board. So we'll mix it up a little bit. I'll try to catch questions. Please put them, though, in capitals and add an emoji or something to help me see you go by. If you see me looking to the right of my screen, then I'm kind of checking to see what's there. I probably won't get everyone, but there's going to be many more sessions of soul sessions, and you can maybe get your question answered next time. All
Yeah.
right.
I want to say hi also, just to say hi to Alice, and I see Terry. So thank
Oh,
you. Also, Butterfly Kisses, I want to say, and Linda.
oh, yes. Oh, I missed people. I'm so sorry. I forgot to scroll. Sometimes I get so excited about the show, I
Well, I get
get the
the
simple things, All right. Well, as I said, since it's my show, I'm going to ask the first question.
okay.
Kim, I'm curious to know, did your interest in psychic mediumship and energy medicine develop during your years as a hospice nurse? Or did you have an interest in that before you took up that profession?
Before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Way
Can you
before.
give us a little info about that?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, actually, as metaphysics, I was studying really age 10. So I had an
Wow.
interest in it back then, but then, put it away and then
Hmm.
opened up again in my 30s. So,
Okay.
yeah. And it was, I was mostly interested in healing. That was my first thing. But then
Yes.
anything, really anything at all to do with metaphysics, so whether it's healing, whether it's shamanism, whether it's
Right.
psychic, whether it's mediumship, all of it. Yeah, I was just anything.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm curious, as all of this information that you gathered in your youth, how did that affect your experience as being a hospice nurse?
Okay. Well, first of all, I guess I think it made me feel everything's normal. So it's hard to shock me as far as like if something's coming up,
Mhm.
I don't get scared of spirit. So that was
Right.
helpful to have that, and it's just like it was normal. So and then so as far as a hospice nurse, so it was really, I think, I look back and I think, well, why would I be interested in hospice nursing? I mean, honestly, I tell you why, because they have dogs there. And that's what got me, oh, they have dogs that work there. There's therapy,
Really?
therapy dogs. And so I thought, wow, I love dogs. I want to work there, if you have nursing and dogs together, well, it's good, Plus,
Yeah.
they did energy work. They also did
Mhm.
art and music therapy, and with the pet therapy. So I just thought it was very holistic. So that's why I was attracted to it. But I
Mhm.
believe also that I perhaps was interested in death because my mom died when I was young,
Oh,
and
poor
then it was, I was about 12, and so it was I think that may have started it. I don't know, but I feel like that
yeah.
gives me a good background for understanding how people, I mean, a bit. I don't, of course, everybody's journey is different, and I don't understand everybody's grief, but to understand a loss, then I think it gives me at least a little experience, starting even when I was 30, because I think when I started hospice nursing, I was around, oh, I don't, in my 30s somewhere. And
Yeah.
I remember when I was being interviewed, she said, "Well, how old are you?" And I might have been actually about 36 or 37.
Mhm.
And I told her, and she said, "Oh, okay, good, because it takes some maturity. You don't want to go in as a 20-year-old
Yeah.
to work in that
Exactly.
field."
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
anyway, that's
Well, I
yeah.
think that a lot of people who eventually become psychic mediums professionally or get into hospice field, I think they've experienced death. I think that death is something, of course, we all experience death close to us, but it's something that can drive you to reach out. You want to reach out. And if you have that inkling that you can talk to that person on the other side, that really drives that desire for knowledge. Yeah.
Mhm. Right. Yeah.
I've had a recently, because my mother passed recently in May. Um,
Sorry. Yeah.
oh, she was 102 and a glorious woman. And she lived a glorious life, you
Wow.
know. But I did get to experience how much hospice help um, through that period of time. And we have a delightful organization here where I live, and kindest people, wonderful. They appreciated her so much. And the young men appreciated her great sense of humor, and she would flirt with them. And
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but the beauty of that care is priceless. It
Mhm,
is. And
mhm,
so helpful for the families too. It's
mhm.
really, really a critical thing. So we've had a few more people join us. Hi, T
Um,
Barb. Hi, Sun Psychic Jean. Welcome. Thanks for your support, everyone.
yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
so um, this show is about diving in to the spiritual transition from this earth to the other side. Can you give us an example of some of the first experiences you had as a hospice nurse being with someone as they transitioned?
Yeah. I still remember, and I know I've said this somewhere along the line on YouTube, but if I have, sorry to repeat
No,
myself. But
please.
I do remember my very first patient bill. I mean, he was my very first one, and um, it was very spiritual.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure, being the first one, right? He was a little younger than me. So he was only 32.
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he was in
young.
the military, had cancer in
Oh,
his leg,
oh,
and he was very adamant. He kept very, as being military minded, he was very rigid about keeping his medications listed. He did it.
oh,
He wanted to do everything just right, and he even color coded. He printed on the computer exactly what he was taking and everything. And so I would come,
wow.
he would show it to me, like, and everything is color coded, very easy to read. But he did want to do it right. And the the thing that was interesting, I guess I say that spiritual. Of course, everything we do every day is spiritual, right?
Yes, of course.
And I we just happen to be, when we're with somebody in transition. This is a time when the spirit world calls out to the world, to the spirit world. Okay,
Yes.
somebody's getting ready to come over on this world, this
Mhm.
dimension. And I feel like Archangel Gabriel has something to do with this. I
Yes.
think he's the messenger, right? With the, is it a trombone he has or something like that? Okay,
Yeah.
I
Trombone.
just, you know, well,
I
it's a
like
horn.
that better than a trumpet, actually.
It's a trumpet. It's a trumpet. Okay, you can tell I'm
No,
not
I
very.
like that. It's got a New Orleans kind of, the parades in New Orleans when they have this funeral. I love that angle.
Well, yeah. So when when somebody is in that mode, you walk in their home, and this is what I noticed. The angels are there. I mean, you can't really deny it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a medium. You just feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, because I actually do believe everybody's a medium anyway, but it's just
Yeah.
how I mean, we all have these senses that we just haven't developed. But anyway, you
Right.
walk in and you feel all this. Now, what he did that was different, and is, and his parents had to live with him the last couple of months because he couldn't really take care of himself.
Hmm.
So they moved in with him,
Yeah.
and but they said they would see him walking in the middle of the night with his oxygen on, and
Wow.
I like at 5 liters, I was pretty high,
Hmm.
and go to the kitchen table, light a candle, and have conversations with unseen others.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, and then he'd get up and go back to bed, and never talked about it during the day. The parents never even mentioned it to him. He acted like nothing ever happened. So this is one of those things that, you know, as people are transitioning, they are closer to the other world, and they have these conversations. It's very
Yes.
common.
Yes. It's interesting. I was experienced a transition with my father-in-law, was in the room with the family when he passed. I definitely was spiritual, but it was before I'd really developed a lot of my mediumship skills. And I know I felt the moment he left his body, actually a little bit before he took his last breath. And since that, it was such an amazing experience. And what a beautiful man, beautiful man. But now with my mother this year, I knew the family was in the house. I'd be sleeping at night and wake up and go, okay, who's here? And you could just feel the family in the house with us. It
Uh-huh.
was an amazing experience. And being able to talk to her and know that, she was so cute. She'd always look at me and go, why am I still here?
Yeah.
I said, well,
Yeah.
Mom, you got to take that up with God. You guys work that out. I'm here for you.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was ready to go. She
Uh-huh.
had a wonderful 102nd birthday party and got to see her whole family. I know that's why she stayed. She got to see everyone, and the
Okay.
entire
Yeah.
family got to surround her bedside. We played her favorite Christian songs. She would sometimes raise her hands in praise while she was there. She did talk to her mom. My daughter came in. She goes, "Mom, what's an all sucker?" And I go,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, I think that's those big lollipops I used to have back in the old days." And she goes, "Grandma, just ask her mom, give me that all sucker. I want an all sucker." So she was in conversation with people on the other side as well. And
Mhm.
her passing was a glorious, beautiful thing. And I know that's why she stayed so long, to have her,
Mhm.
because family meant everything to her, everything. So
Awesome.
what a beautiful experience. Um,
Mhm.
and I think I will bring this subject in. It's something that I've experienced as well a couple times in my life. There are times when the soul actually leaves the body before the body dies.
Uh-huh. That's right.
And both with my
Well, I
mom. Yeah, go ahead.
no, no, no. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I just know that because I experienced it with my mom and my younger sister. And I know my mom, towards the end, when I came in and I was concerned, and I heard her say, "I'm not in there, you know."
Oh, wow. Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they come and go, actually. Um,
Oh, okay. Yes, sure.
and I think there's it's a that's why they call it transition, right? And you're
Right.
transitioning away, and then you come
Mhm.
back, and then finally it's more and more, and then gone. And I see T-Barb saying the same thing, and even my dad
Yes.
saying same thing. You saw him on his bed, hospice bed, and
Uh-huh.
yet his spirit was over there trying to open the door,
Yes.
and he was like, "How do I get out of here? How do I get out of here?" Yeah. And why am I here? And this made me think about
Mhm.
why are we even here? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a transition. It's different, I think, if people are passed in a traumatic death, car
Yes.
wreck or war or whatever, then it is different. And because I think when people have the luxury to me of going slower, then they know,
Yes.
when they have that opportunity
Mm.
to be at peace. But I think sometimes when people are quickly made to move, it may
Mhm.
take them a little while to wake up,
Yes.
to be in the other world. I
Mhm.
don't like to think of it that way versus, oh, they're lost. I want to it's just maybe to wake up in spirit. Um,
Right.
yeah.
That was one of the things I wanted to bring up, how I'm starting through my studying to realize that just as our lives and our incarnations are all custom designed to the growth of our soul, our passings are customized. I know that,
Right.
that sounds weird to use
Yes.
that word, but I couldn't figure out what other word to use.
Yeah, that's right.
Customized for us. And
Yeah.
I know that I was reading Anita Morjani. She is the author of the book Dying to Be Me.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she mentioned that sometimes people question her, like, well, why do some people go through the tunnel? And why do other people just, phase into and cross the veil gently? And why is that all different? And it began to occur to me that it's like everything else, it's all for us specifically at this point
Yes.
in time.
The
And
way
she
I look,
expressed
yeah.
sometimes that if people have a traumatic passing,
Mhm.
then they are taken up, and the tunnel gives them time to adjust to actually what's happening. And other people, perhaps who've had many lives, know where they are, and they know where they're going.
Oh, right, right. Somebody was asking about fear. When you
Oh,
have fear, and believe fear does delay the
oh,
transition,
sure.
especially if you're doing a slow transition. Fear will
Mhm.
hold you here a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah, but I believe the spirit world, and this is the way I look at it,
sure.
they will do whatever it takes to get our souls across the veil.
Yes.
They're going to get their best, what I don't know, the best, is it the best dog? Is it the best dad or the mom or the grandma? Or is it the archangel? Is it
Mhm.
Archangel Azrael, the angel of death? They're going to figure out what it is it's going to take, pull you across.
I
Like
totally
that's going to
believe
be
that.
the attraction, like a magnet, right? Pulling you
Hmm.
across. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's very individual. They know already. But I do
Yes.
believe we can, if we decide, or if we're going to plan it now, we might plan our transition. We might say, hey, I think I would like to meet, I don't know, Elvis Presley when I go. I mean,
I
I
want
don't.
Gabriel to play the trombone for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just joking. I'm really not an Elvis.
No, I love it. No, I've totally thought that. And it's a funny thing. I use that sometimes because when you have a little fear and you think, oh, maybe this is how I'm going to go. And I'm like, no, 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 I've got it all planned out. I'm going to go in my sleep, and it's
Well,
going to be
yeah.
nice
I
and
mean,
easy. And
well, everybody wants that. Everybody
of
wants to go
course
to
we
sleep.
all do. Of
Yeah,
course we
they. I want to die in my sleep. I hear
do.
that all the time. In hospice, people do usually die in their sleep, so that makes it nice,
Yes.
because we sleep more and more before we transition. I think that's part of what
Yes.
happens. Our body gets smaller, our spirit gets bigger,
Yes.
and so then it's easier to gently go across the veil.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And I do have to say, I'm going to jump back to the hospice nurse thing. It was wonderful to have that information that they give you about what the person who's passing over, transitioning, will be going through physically,
mhm,
mentally. The fact that they'll drink less water, they'll eat less food. It was so comforting for me to know that in caring for her, that this is
yeah.
to be expected. It's okay. So,
Right, right. Oh, I can imagine, right? And we're not going to go from the way you and I are,
yeah.
eating and drinking, alive and well, to all of a sudden laying
Yeah.
down and going to sleep.
Yeah.
It's not just yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to check my notes here. Um, mhm. Okay. We did that. We did that. We did that.
There's a couple people that had a question I noticed too.
Oh, good. Let
Yeah.
me let me go to my stars. I have two starred questions. So, which ones did you see,
Well, I
dear?
was looking at Juno. I think she said her dad
Yes,
passed today,
that's
10
my
years
first
ago.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Let's put that up. Let's answer that
Okay.
question. Time is flying by. I could keep you for a few hours.
Oh, 11 years ago. Okay.
Okay.
So let's
Does
see,
he have
Juno.
any messages for me?
It's also nice to know your dad's name, but not necessary, I guess. But
It does help, Juno, if you can put that in the comments, that'd be great.
okay. So I'm going to take a moment to allow your dad to come forward here, Juno. Oh. So, and Juno, I know you, but I don't really know your dad. um, I feel this man was a down to earth man, that I feel a simple, like living life simple. Um, and I also feel with him, huh, feeling like he never did enough. I feel like he worked hard, but he still
Mhm.
never felt like he was good enough or did enough for you. I want to say for you, Juno. There was something about not doing enough for you. And I would love to know if this even Stanley. Okay.
Stanley was his name.
Yeah. And I think now, because of this feeling of not feeling that way, like he could have been better, he's with you so much more now.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I think you're a writer, Juno. I feel like whatever you write, he's there. I mean, I feel him on your right arm, your right side, as your guardian here. Um, and pride, uh, really unbelievable pride in you and what you've accomplished, but also what you've overcome. It's about what you've overcome. And he's given you a lot of support emotionally, but physically as well, emotionally and physical support.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think I think your mother's in spirit too, because I feel both of them together here. Now, I don't know if they stayed together, but I feel like they're together right now today. And thank you for remembering him. Thank you for remembering him
Yeah,
today.
I would just like to add one thing, all those beautiful things. And Stanley, what a beautiful just a beautiful soul. I felt that he is immersed in immense joy for the way he's able to be so close to you now in spirit.
Mhm.
In
Mhm.
every way, he's right there with you and he's loving you with that true, pure love of the Creator. Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
Well, and mom is there too. All that is.
Oh, and she's a December passing also. 2
Oh,
December
wow.
passings. That's hard, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very hard. Absolutely. Okay. So we'll go for one more. Um, this is Linda Thompson. Oh,
Okay.
and she wants a message from her parents, Anne and Larry.
Okay. So Linda Thompson. Hi, Linda. Hello, Linda. So let's see. Okay. I mean, it didn't take long for your mom to pop in. So that's who I feel first for you. Um, it's a giggly feel. I feel that you must have had a close relationship because I feel this giggle. This so it's almost like two girls wishing to just giggle together. Um, and oh, she's talking a little bit about how you might be worried about. I don't know if it's health issues or something that maybe you guys have something similar that you think you feel like what you have now is something about what your mom had. There's something about this with similarity in health issues. Um, and she's saying no, it's not exactly the same. I feel like it's not exactly the same. Okay. And she wants you to just almost like let it go a bit and just live, live no matter what's going on about physically for you. um, and of course, I feel there's an excitement around the holidays. I see a lot of decorations in her mind that she's remembering on Earth, all the decorations and how the fun of the holidays, it feels to me. Okay, and then Larry. It's more that he is right there, but I feel like he's a little more like she's a talker and he's the one in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Standing behind her.
yeah,
Yeah.
and love. I feel deep love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a beautiful, heartfelt, um, hmm, like happy holiday, Merry Christmas, more like that. And music. Remember the music. I feel like there was music in the home around the holidays that was something that really brought the family together. So well, we've got a lot of people talking about people
Mm-hmm.
that have passed. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if we want to do that or do we want to still talk about our topic,
Well, we'll pause for a moment
Yeah.
and perhaps entertain some more questions, and maybe you might in the chat have some questions about, what is a soul? How is it they transition? How
Yeah.
is it life after life? Are the transitions different? I mean, I'm just throwing some out there, but I'm sure you guys have some questions.
Yeah.
And I
And
just
then,
just want to take a minute to talk to all of you out there. Um, oh, and here's one. Lovely. Got it started. Thank you. I wanted to make a point of saying that, this is such a sacred thing that we honor your questions and we honor your feelings about passings. I know that sometimes when, actually, after the last soul sessions we had, some people were pretty upset about the things that we had to say, and that's perfectly fine. We're sharing with you what we get from spirit and from our guides and from things that have been shown to us. And, if it doesn't sit right with you, just let it settle a little bit. And if you don't like it, you don't have to join us. But I just wanted to interject that because we're all learning here. And we happen to have a wonderful group that we've done much learning together. And it's been a wonderful journey. So just kind of want to interject that. And feel free to ask a question, perhaps that might challenge some of the things that we're saying. That's okay too. We want this to be a conversation. We want this to be a conversation of joy and love about a very, very sacred thing. All right. I have one from Wiki. There we go.
yeah. Thank you.
Little
I was reading it.
passings versus home. Does it matter in terms of ease of passing?
Well, I think it's whatever is comfortable for the one passing, whatever makes them the most comfortable. A lot of people, most people would prefer to be at home. I almost meet no one, almost never, who wants to be in the hospital when they pass.
Yeah.
So but I know sometimes you can't do that, whether there's a symptom management issue or whether maybe they're not even on hospice. So sometimes people do end up in the hospital or a facility when they're passing. So what I want to recommend is that well, first of all, no one does die alone. Doesn't matter where you are. Of course,
That's
there's a
right.
whole team. There's
That's
a
right.
whole team there. You just because it looks like nobody's there, they are there. um, and so, but if the family can visit, that's awesome. That's the best, right? But do know that when somebody is in transition, they don't always like to be touched because as the spirit's leaving the body, it's a little bit of a uh, uncomfortable sometimes in and out, and it can make the skin very sensitive. So you may love to touch your mom's hand, but they
Okay.
may not like it. I mean, they may used to like it, but when they're transitioning, it could be um uh not comfortable. But so there's that to think of. So I think it depends on the person, but mainly what makes a big difference is pain and anxiety. No matter
Mm-hmm.
where anybody is, I want to say pain and anxiety are a hook into the body that keep you here longer. And
Yeah.
so when somebody's in pain, yeah, well, first of all, that makes not for a very peaceful transition. So it's good to try to get that under control as much as possible,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and anxiety too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would just interject that all of our lives are so tightly woven together. I know, like with my mom, I know that she hung on for a few days and different people were able to make it. And I know that she held out so that they could be there. That was part of the agreements that they'd all made. It could be that someone who's in the hospital might be influential to a nurse or a caregiver that's there in the hospital or a doctor. They may have something to relay to that soul that was decided before that soul came to this planet. So it's very intricate and it's designed that way. So sometimes I believe that someone may pass in a hospital for that reason as well. Okay.
Mhm, mhm. Um, yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting. What I do notice, though, about the hospital is
Yes.
that oftentimes, I have to attend deaths sometimes. I
Mhm.
still work in hospice about one day a week.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, usually on the weekends, sometimes 2 days on the weekends. But anyway, so when I attend a death and somebody's been in the hospital, I can tell their spirit's gone quicker
Yeah. Yes.
versus at home, you can feel the spirit still there.
That's beautiful.
Oftentimes,
Yeah.
mostly, right,
Mhm.
because they wanna be with the family, and
Mhm.
they'll go they'll find their family.
That's beautiful.
You hear them knocking on the door, they're making that, or in the dream or, "Hey, I made
Mhm.
it," or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's another interesting subject, how they let us know everything's okay.
Yes.
They can always, after they pass, they can always send a little message. So you want to make sure that you're watching and listening and paying attention because they may be sending you a message that, hey, I'm okay, everything's fine. And I also want to say that, meditation and raising your vibration, even though it's difficult during a time of grief, those two things can really, really help you connect with them on the other side. Um, Also, you can ask your guides. Ask your guides to help connect you to your loved one on the other side. So, those are all things that we can do. You know, my mom, after she passed, the day of her funeral, she loved television, by the way. She loved cowboy shows. So, the day of her funeral, I woke up in the middle of the night at the exact time that she passed a week prior. And I was just kind of laying there and reaching out to her and talking. And the TV came on full blast in the living room. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, I'm like, my husband, go, what's going on? And he went in there and goes, I don't know. TV just turned on. I go, I know what happened. And that was her way of letting me know, hey, I made it. It's
Yeah.
all good. Yeah.
Right, right. Uh-huh. Somebody was asking about abusive people. What
Oh,
happens to them? You know, I
yeah.
feel when now maybe you can I mean you would know too, Terry, but
Mhm,
um, I think that people who are abusive have a harder time dying
mhm,
usually
mhm.
because there is a little bit of a fear factor. Who are
Sure.
they going to meet? What's going to happen? Because they know that things
Mm.
weren't so good. I did know a man, one of my good friends. She's been on my channel, Marty. You guys know Marty sometimes, maybe. Well, anyway, she's going to come on again soon.
I'll watch for her.
She's a Sasquatch expert. Um,
Oh,
okay. Anyway, so when her dad passed, and he maybe wasn't the best dad, okay, he didn't decided he wasn't ready to go. So what he did, he just hung around the earth, and then he finally did decide to go. But he found a funeral home. So for him to make that transition, and he
mhm.
came back and said, "Hey, you know, you can if you feel like you got lost, you can always find another funeral to go to, and there will be a way up that way." But he was afraid. But I think it's
Sure.
harder for them. And of course, we know on the other side, then they're going to have a lot more
Mhm.
self judgment. It's all about self judgment. So, yeah,
Yes.
but everybody's loved the same, no matter what we have done.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. And
Yeah.
that the other thing is, I do know this, that they are met when they transition by all the loving beings that were in their life, and they welcome them, and there's no judgment, and there's no anger and no agitation with them. They welcome them with love and purity, and that's what eases them onto the
Hmm.
other side, to know
Hmm.
that they're loved, and everything's okay. Yeah, they'll go through a life review, and there's things they work out with their guides, but that's the main message there, is that they go into love, even though it's frightening at first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I want to say the life review starts on this side.
Well, you
It
know
does.
what's funny? I always say to my guides, why do I have to go through a life review when I wake up at 4 in the morning every morning and review my life over and over
Oh,
again?
oh my goodness. Well, hopefully you're not going to be leaving us anytime soon.
No, 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 I don't think so. It's not in my plan, actually.
Okay. But yeah, they start going on a life review. You can see it a month, even as much as a month ahead.
Ahead. Wow. That's
Yeah, and
interesting.
through dreams, or talking about childhood, or talking about the old music, or the things that went on as a child, or even reliving their work experiences. I
Wow.
consider that a life. That's part of a life
That's
review.
cool.
Hmm.
That's really
We think,
cool.
oh, they're just confused, but no, they're doing a life review.
Yeah. It's fascinating to me because sometimes, we had been like brought up to feel like a life review would be a judgment thing, but I've learned it's not. It's not at all. It's a review to see the progression your soul has made in this lifetime. And it's a
Mhm.
kind and loving review with your guides and angels. And it's really a special thing when you think about it,
Mhm.
that we've designed and reviewing back over how we did. No
Thank you.
punishment.
Oh, yeah, yeah. T-Barb says she was excited to see Marty. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to talk to her right after this, and we're going to put a date out.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're moving right along. And I have to put this up, Ron. She loved cowboy movies too, huh?
But they must have been good-looking cowboys. That was it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
John Wayne and all those guys.
Yeah.
I do have to say one thing, as being a caretaker, I was so nervous about doing everything right and making sure everything meds were right, everything was right, everything. Had to remind myself, sit down and watch a movie with her. Relax. You don't have to
Yeah.
have everything perfect.
Thank you
And
for
we
saying
did.
that.
We enjoyed John Wayne movies. In fact, my daughter came and watched cowboy movies with her too. And then she commented, I didn't know cowboy movies were so good.
Depends on the stars.
It
But
depends on
but
oh god.
I that's a good point though, Terry,
Yeah.
because when lots of caregivers think they're not doing a good job, this is it breaks my heart to see this. And I have to remind people what a great job. It doesn't matter whether you're 30 minutes late on the medicine, even an hour late. I mean,
Yeah.
or and it's hard to be, especially a family member and a caregiver as well, to be
Hmm.
both. So,
Hmm.
so please, everybody who is experiencing this, you
Yes.
cannot be perfect. There is no perfection in this. It's all messy. It's messy,
Yeah.
gooey. You know, it's love and it's confusion and it's anxiety and it's joy. I mean, there's just so many different things going on at the same time that there's no way you can be perfect.
Right. And it's also important to note too that there are services and people you can reach out to if you're having, that kind of feeling that you're feeling like you're not doing enough, or you're feeling unsettled about how you're able to treat her condition or him or her condition. It's really important to reach out to people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
Well,
good
I
point.
did have one question that was in, and it is about someone who's passed. Let me go here. I had to put it on a banner. This young lady posted on the community page, and she wanted us to just. There was more to this message. It was quite a long message.
Okay.
But what she felt was he passed quickly. She wasn't there and able to be with her parents, and she apparently was going to be with them later this month. And I gather her question was asking how he transitioned, maybe some information on how that happened, because he
Okay.
did pass so quickly.
Okay. So Rose Blue is her name,
Yes,
right?
that's her name.
We don't know the
His name
brother.
is Thomas.
Thomas.
Hmm. Let me
Okay.
double.
And we don't know if she's here either, but that's okay.
We don't know, and I
Yeah.
just promised that I would, and maybe she'll see this in the replay. I hope.
Okay. So I feel when I'm connecting with Rose Blue first, it's that she's still grieving.
Yes. Yes.
Feels still, there could be a guilt here, right?
Yeah.
24 hours. And
Yeah.
nobody was ready. Okay.
Hmm.
And I feel now with Thomas. Come on, Thomas. Come on. Oh, okay. So what I feel from Thomas is that he was confused as well, just like the family. Like, oh my God, this happened so fast. He didn't expect it either.
Yeah. I
You,
believe the news was really shocking. I feel
yeah,
shocked. Yeah.
even stage 4, right? But you still don't realize. So, but he's absolutely beautiful now. I mean, like, oh my gosh, even though he was confused, like, how could this happen? I was totally, but I feel like that's more 3D. And
Hmm.
then, but now in this 5D level, or whatever he is in, maybe he's 12D, I don't know. But the idea that he is actually, I feel like he's still quite close to Earth, even, and with her, with Rose Blue. Yeah. Yes. Oops, there we are. She'll come back. But I feel like uh, he's right by you, Rose Blue. If you can hear me, I know you may not be able to hear me, but he's also thanking you for everything you did for him. Even though, again, there you are.
Don't worry, I didn't transition.
Let us know if you're going to do that now.
Occasionally, I have a very sensitive mouse, and occasionally, if I touch it the wrong way, it will boot me out.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I was
Nonetheless,
just,
though, I felt when I actually meditated on Thomas because I knew the question ahead of time, and I felt a great deal of love and protective love from him. He's protecting you. I think he really, really feels your anxiety and your angst, and of course, that you're in deep sadness about him. And I would hope and suggest that you try listening to beautiful music, maybe, or trying to do a short meditation. There are plenty on YouTube that really help. And raise that vibration, because I see him right there next to you, just his arms around you, and I feel his love for you. It's very intense. I always get a really deep pink when intense love is being given, and I see that. So, Rose, I hope that helps. And blessings to you and your family. And please let them know and pass on the peace that he is in right now, that he is well. And peaceful, and has then transitioned back to his home. He's home.
Yeah. And Ron has the same feeling that he's very close to
Oh, good.
Rose.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, this is an incredible show today. We're reaching a lot more subjects than I thought we'd even have time to get to. It's wonderful. And maybe we can just get to the point of, let's do this. Well, this just popped in. So let's talk about, how before we come and have an incarnation on planet Earth, that we meet with our guides and angels and we discuss perhaps what we need to learn in this lifetime and how we even plan our transition at the end of this life. What do you think about that?
Well, I haven't really thought about that one, but I know we do.
I didn't either. The guys just gave it to me.
Okay, well, let's see. But let's see if we can come together on this answer here with my guiding team as well.
Yeah.
Okay. The feeling I'm getting from my team is that it's well known in advance. There is not a thing our soul doesn't already know. And our guides, come from our soul as well. So it's all soul. We've known this actually not just in between lives. It is from the incarnation of the first time of our soul. Even every lifetime. It's not, and that's what I'm feeling right now. Okay.
It's in the Akashic records.
Yeah. There you go. So it's not just right before we are born. It's way, way, way long ago. It's like a plan. There's a plan here for all the journeys of our soul. And I'm also seeing this coordination between different dimensions and maybe even other lifetimes at the same time that we're here, that there's a coordination. And this is part of the reason, thank you, that we choose a certain time it has to do with another part of us in another lifetime. It's connected also to our other lifetimes. It's not just this lifetime.
Ooh, that just gave me chills.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
Wow.
As I feel into my guys, they're just smiling and happy that we're even asking this. And there's a divine plan, and it's not just our soul, but it's also I want to say divine master. I feel like they're showing me a master. I don't know who this is, a master planner of some sort. It doesn't look like God. It doesn't, it looks different to me. The way I'm seeing it is a dark beard and gold, a lot of gold and a dark beard. So I don't know what this means.
Beautiful.
A lot of pretty hefty man.
High vibration guide, a guide in chief, perhaps.
This is just my vision, just my human mind, making this. But
it just occurred to me, if I can stick this in quickly, because they just gave it to me. You know how I know that the guides work with us, and we agree not to know what's going to happen. We forget. That's the veil. Forgetting, right? So, but the guides will give us things sometimes that they will allow us to know in our spirit. That's like almost a sign, almost, and I'm seeing a road sign, almost like a sign in the road, and we're allowed to know that that's the next phase of where your life is going. And you hear people sometimes say, I just had this feeling that my life was going to end soon, or I just had this feeling that I knew this was going to happen, or maybe even I just had that feeling not to go to work that day, and their life's continuing. That's fascinating.
But I think it's also not just in our transition time. It's also every day, all the time, right?
Yeah, I agree.
All these little signs. So I remember when I met my husband, which we're still friends. But anyway, I just thought it was his nose. It's like, I know that nose. You're somebody I'm supposed to know. You know what I mean? It was something about that. So, I mean, it was like a road sign.
Yes. Yes, I believe they're there. They're road signs. That's fascinating. Wow. Well, we're getting a lot of great comments in here, and I'm going to just read a couple of them. Okay, I'm gonna pop this up. Let's see this. Naja, thank you. If we plan our transitions, then how come people that die suddenly, like in accidents, have a hard time moving on and sometimes get stuck? And when and who helps them move over? Excellent
Mhm,
question. Thank you so very much.
mhm. Well, because when we are in that transition of a death that's, um, so we're going from 3D suddenly to whatever 5D, we haven't totally left 3D.
Mhm.
So that's why we're a little bit in shock. And it's going
Yes.
to take a little time to make that transition or to wake up. That's why, because we haven't left this realm yet.
Yes.
Enough.
Yeah. That the
And
the
who helps
3D
them?
is dense. It's a different energy. It's a very dense energy. And in a shocking situation like that, you might experience a stall as you move into this new transition, this new experience. Do you think
Uh-huh.
that I don't really feel like souls get stuck. I've never really felt that.
No, I don't feel stuck. It's more like just a longer time to wake up.
Yes, I
Okay.
agree.
Uh, well, I mean, you've heard that when people die suddenly, they think they're still alive. They're not lost.
Yes.
They just haven't figured it out yet. That's why it just takes a little
Mhm,
time
mhm.
to adjust to the new body, which is our
Yeah,
without the physical body. It just takes a little time.
yeah.
And who helps them? To me, again, I want to say it's the same. It's whatever will bring you across the best. Is it if you die in a war, it's going to be a military sergeant probably that's going to make you feel at home. You see,
Mhm.
yeah. So I think it's different for different situations.
That's the feeling I got, and I kept getting the word customized. Custom
Yes.
designed for that particular soul after that particular life, and it works with everything that's been so intricately designed for us as souls to help us advance. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Thank you
Hmm.
for the question. Really good. Okay. Um, Laura's got one that's a little wild. Let's see what this is. Do we
We
reincarnate after all our family passes, but then the grandbabies have babies?
possible. But I don't think we can say it's a one size fits all again, right? But I think it's often very common. I see this a lot that they're coming back, whoever it is has passed, coming
Hmm.
back as a grandbaby.
Hmm.
It's very, very common. Um,
Yes. Hmm.
but sometimes, now remember, our soul can have multiple lifetimes at the same time. And
Yes.
when our grandmother passes, our grandmother is always going to be our grandmother. I think people get mixed up a little bit on this. When we cross over our grandmother's past, we're going to see our grandmother, even if she's already reincarnated, because her soul has multiple lives.
Hmm.
And so that doesn't mean they're going to, oh, where's grandmother? No, she's always going to be there. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's why,
Great. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. I've still got that posted. Sorry. Um, that's an excellent, excellent question.
Yeah, but I do see that. And I wonder sometimes every once in a while, there's going to be people that are born here that don't quite fit in their family. You hear this, like, I never felt like I belonged. Yeah, I must be from Sirius B and everybody else is from Palladium. We just don't match. Okay, so then I wonder, who knows, if then that soul group, they are just visiting that soul group, to have this experience and may or may not keep traveling with that same soul group. So that I'm not positive
Mhm,
about. I don't,
mhm.
we're just our human. Oh, I guess we can ask. What do you think, Terry? What do you?
Oh my goodness. Well,
Oh, okay.
you follow the breadcrumbs. At least this is how I look at it. When you begin to meditate and when you form an intention to have a spiritual journey, a spiritual path, and you ask for messages to be given to you, breadcrumbs, signs. You'll find this, you'll find that. Someone will speak to you. Perhaps you'll pick up a book, and that book will have the exact answer that you're looking for. Or you could hear it. You could begin to develop your skills and begin to hear and actually communicate with your guides on all of these questions, because
Oh,
it's intricate.
mhm, mhm. I just got a little bit of um, uh, and
Let's have it.
down,
Let's have it.
yeah, about that question. So if we're in a family that we don't fit, for instance,
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is that actually we're all connected no matter what.
Yes.
So, even though we can say these pods, I know pods come together,
Mhm.
the grandparent, the family, they usually go over and over together. But even if we feel like we don't belong in our family, we're still connected no matter what. So
Absolutely.
there's
And
always
they
a
have
way.
things they give to us that we would not have gotten any other way. I mean, I know, at least between my mom and I, she was a very spiritual, religious person. And when I began to kind of expand and explore other things, she did not approve of that very much, but she was still loving to me. But I got from her that love of the creator, that idea of that, eternal creator that loves us and guides our lives. So, I just kind of stuck out like a sore thumb, and I still kind of do, but it's all in the plan, right? It's all in the plan.
That's a good thing. Yeah. We wouldn't want to
Yeah.
all be the same.
No, no. And like I said, they taught me a lot of things, and people in our lives who, well, like my father was kind of had issues with abuse and alcoholism. And after he passed, and I would take long drives on country roads and talk to him, and we worked it out. And I understood, he gave me a love for animals, gave me a love for music. It's all intricate. It's all intricately designed for us. And it's all about love and energy, baby.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I
That's
love the
it.
next question with Laura. Uh, are you saying we have multiple lives running same time, different dimension? Yes. Yes, we can be, you guys, we are already ascended. We hear, oh, we're ascending. We are these little peons and we're going to be ascending like like the aliens or the ETs, or maybe it's whatever dimension you want to talk about. But
Yeah.
no, we are already there. It's just that this part of us has decided to be the ambassador for our spirit team at this moment in time. And
Yes.
we have come here now. We still have, yeah, we're all over. We could be in Africa, but we could also be on the Pleiades right now at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah,
That is
we're
true.
already ETs. We're
Mhm.
not one dimensional. We're multidimensional beings.
If I'm going to leave in the comments today after the show some suggested reading material if you're interested in following up on this subject. Journey of Souls by
Mhm.
Michael Newton
Yeah.
actually mentions that and talks about that and has a whole section in his book, Journey of Souls, about that.
Okay.
Fascinating. I just gobbled it up. So I'll put that, and I'm also going to put a book that Kim contributed to called
Oh,
Last Breath, and I'll
yeah.
I'll put the information about that. It is on Amazon, but
Mhm.
I'll put that together with all the other reading materials for everybody today. And man, did the time fly fast or what? I, I just I'm blown away. Of course, I eat this stuff up. I get such a high vibration when we have these conversations and share with each other. There's nothing like it. It's so
Yeah,
beautiful. And
it
Kim, I
is.
just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being
Oh,
with us today. I
well,
mean,
thank you. This is,
you're amazing.
I think when we come together and have these important conversations,
Yes.
it makes us not feel so lonely, because actually this journey as a spiritual being here, l- just happen to be in a human body,
Yeah.
can be lonely,
Human body.
And so we come together, whether it's through chat or whether it's, whatever, person to person. It's important to have the community. Community is so important
Yes. It
for
is.
emotional and I think emotional and physical and mental well-being.
True. And so many of us and people who are interested in spirituality are talking about the same things. It's because it's being given to us right now. Things are being revealed to us, knowledge is being opened up for us. And my guides have shared with me that we actually individually have a unique contribution to cosmic consciousness. And as we share together and we raise our vibration, we're actually contributing to the cosmic consciousness of the universe. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for having me, Terry. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely. Everyone in the chat, you know I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I have to end this show the way I always do. The guides have spoken it, and it's true. You are loved beyond measure. Thank you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll put future shows coming up for either of us in the comments after the show. Thanks again. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
all.
bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Happy holidays.